Time to put it all back in again. Just obviously be careful, slowly, same old process. It's impossible really to film what you're doing inside the tank, but I'm just going to show you me faffing around a bit. So be careful with this bit. Gently feed this stuff back in. Make sure that the fuel sensor level thing is free and bounces up and down. And then the hardest part again is to get this nasty green tab put back in. Make sure that everything generally is not interfering with anything else. And you've also got to clip the pressure regulator back in where it clips into the bottom of the tank, but do that last so that you can manipulate everything around for a bit. The funnest part is this green clip, which does have a bit of a tendency to not want to clip in on one on the top or bottom. And obviously make sure that you feel that the fuel tank module is clipped. You know, once it's aligned, it lines up with itself in the cage. So make sure that it's in there and that you're happy with the alignment. Right, we are in here. This is the pressure regulator back in. So that means that it kind of like goes in like that, slides in like that. It took me ages to work it out. So I used my left hand, grabbed it gently, slid it in like that, so it slots in, and then it seems nice and secure. That rogue pipe, again, it's really hard to see with all the stuff in the way. So let's see if I can get any image of it. It's just so difficult to see. So you can probably see, just about see the end of it. It basically clips in to the top of the fuel module. So I'm assuming it sloshes fuel back in there. So I wonder whether that was a problem when maybe the fuel's low. It's not putting much fuel towards the pump. You know, I don't know is the answer, but definitely I don't think I put that back on last time. This time it's clipped on and it's in the right position. So that's a good thing. I've also clipped back on this hose that is directly below us. So that's got the two square clip things on it that you clip to undo it, and just make sure that everything is kind of sticking out that needs to be. I can see the fuel burning pipe here needs to just be manipulated around a little bit so it's coming up properly. So I've got my yellow connector there, I've got that. There is the breather hiding, it's tucked in there, so I'll pop that out. Then we've got our brown and white connectors. So pretty much there in terms of having the module back in. That annoying green clip is clipped on. You can tell it's fixed in the right position because the module feels secure. It's not moving around of its own accord. Same with the pressure regulator. Once it's in, it feels secure. It does move around a bit, but you feel that you pull it and it won't just pull out when you give it a tug. So I think that's in the correct place. Again, it's just all these things, make sure they're in. That pipe's in, the power connector was clipped in, and the pipe, everything's looking good. So I think we will just carry on with our reassembly. I'm going to extract that breather pipe, so let's carry on. Even if you don't record the positions of those plugs, they only go in one way. If you look at the connector, so there's one side, that one with 2 little slots and that one with 1 slot, so they are keyed. So if you didn't remember to do that properly, obviously you can just get away with it, but generally good to write things down. So we know that this was kind of about round this way. And it points towards, there's a couple of markings on the tank where you point it towards just to align it, but first of all we've got to just clip everything back in. So trying to think what's the hardest things to do. Oh, and with these you have to put them in order, so 1, 2, 3, otherwise they get stuck by their own kind of locking mechanism, the clippy bits. Put that one in, you can't put that one, blah blah blah, I think. Fuel burning hose just pushes back in and it's self-locking, so make sure it's pushed in nice and all the way. Right, so that's everything reconnected. Just again do one last check to make sure you have plugged everything in. Breather, fuel pipe on this side, and then fuel burning heater, 3 wiring connectors that are all locked. Just and then you should just be able to gently, so it shouldn't be sort of pushing itself out particularly. It'll have a little bit of pressure on it, but it shouldn't be sort of massively pushing itself out. So just going to get a clean piece of towel and wipe around there so that it's not sort of too mucky, but there you go. So that's that back in, and then we just continue with the rest of the clips and things. So we're nearly there. I do think bringing the tank inside was a good idea because I'm pretty slow, but it's raised up. You can see more clearly. When I did it on the ground last time, it was on a sunny day and it was just hard to see what was going on really. And this just makes it a little bit easier to keep an eye on everything. So kind of there really. Let's get this big white clip back again. So this again, I think sort of roughly oriented so that we can get the Jubilee clip on without too much hassle. Just cause a bit of a headache having this silly pipe thing in the way, but you can just get around that. So make sure that you just ease it on gently, gently. You can move it around a bit if you want to, but let's get it on first. Right. Make sure it's flush, make sure everything's facing the right direction. Arrow here points to the markings here. So we are roughly in nice positions. Obviously we want these coming back to these are sort of straight so they come out properly. Just make sure that's correct. Right, happy with that. Find a nice big clippy clip. So that's really secure. Everything's nice and tight. Everything's nice and flush. Just gonna make sure we're all happy. You know, see, check and double check. Nothing looks wonky or out of alignment. There are two dots on this green. The seal that's on here, that might be, I don't know if I've rotated it or not, but I just sort of lined it up. There's a little hole here and there's a gap on that side. Just kind of aligned it with that really. And I've not done this. It kind of seems to sort of max out when you do it up so that it won't go any further. So don't push it, but seems all kind of designed to align nicely. So we've got everything back. We've got our send return obviously working nicely. That's plugged in. Checked all our wires underneath. So unless we've done anything majorly wrong, it should work when we put it all back together, which is probably the next step of trying to get the tank back onto the vehicle. A very quick note, this is what I found in the fuel pressure regulator, the little well that it sits in. I kind of decided to clean it out so I could just see what was going on, and I put my finger in there and I thought this feels a bit slimy, so that's the kind of rubbish that was sitting in there. It's not very nice. Obviously it's a diesel fuel tank and it's got probably whatever the modern diesel is a bit bio, but again it's an old tank, so I thought it's not going to hurt to, you know, with the pressure regulator to take this out. That might be some kind of sediment trap anyway, but it's not nice stuff. Probably better off getting it out. It's like similar to what was in the fuel filter, so there you go, just got that out. Right, we have to get our routing correct, so we have got this clip. Now this one at the front of the tank goes on upside down, and then these two go on around that way. And these are the breather pipes. If you don't put these on right now at this point, it's a real pain to put them on. You can't do it when the tank's in position. Obviously you've got to route these up underneath the vehicle. So that's one tip there that I did get wrong last time. So this is all ready to receive its pipes, so, and the wiring connector. So I've just got to start gently pushing the tank back in under the car, thanks to my very helpful, lovely assistant, Mrs. Green, for carrying it with me. And then we are going to hopefully try and start raising it and getting it back in position. Again, it's a long-winded thing. You just take it slowly, gradually raise it up, and then it will go in. Okay, so here we are at this point. We have got the fuel burning hose there routed in to the tank. These pipes here are just generally routed. Like I said, this is pad that they need to go under. Everything's plugged in on top and nicely secured, so I'm happy with that. And then make sure you clipped on all of your breather pipes at the rear. So we've got our breather pipes there, and they are routing up in there. Make sure they're pushed up, and then I've still got that covered up for the fuel filler pipe. I've been slightly scuppered by the weather for the past day or two because it's been raining here, which has not really helped with the progress. So I'm going to start to raise this up, get the jacks positioned underneath. These pipes here, if you want to, you can actually detach them quite easily. I mean, I've got 2007 Discovery 3, so you can detach them quite easily from where the fuel filter is. They've got those blue square sort of pushy in connectors on them, so you can do that if you want to drop those down and clip them in. But I'm going to try and put the tank up and clip them in, rather than messing around with detaching anything else, just because it's so wet as well. I don't really want to introduce any water into the system. So there we are, and once you've kind of raised up the tank, make sure the wiring connector's clipped in on the other side. Hopefully we'll show that. We're doing okay. Just it's just slow and steady. Here we go. Right, all the pipes at the back are sort of routed in. There is that funny there's a funny sort of plastic clip that you can't see from this side, but the breather pipes do sit in that, so they kind of run along here. So, and then we'll move under the vehicle just to have a little check at what's going on. So they're all clipped in. There's a more complicated clip at the back here where the handbrake cable comes out. You just have to sort of work it out, but everything clips into that and it makes it all nice and secure. And I've obviously clipped back in the longer bendier pipe into its connector. So we'll just move under the vehicle, double check what we got under there. We've got the nice yellow clip clipped in up there. We've got the pipes routed across the top of this funny clip thing that goodness knows why Land Rover designed it like that. We've also got the fuel pipe nicely connected and tightened up. Then we've got our rear bolt there, which is nice and new and shiny. We've got a bolt here in the middle. We've got the other one here, and then we've got the two front ones and the fuel burning heater pump reconnected, and then we've got the final bolt connected in here. And we have also rerouted our handbrake emergency release across there, and hopefully everything is nice and happy. I don't know whether you can actually see anything in there, but everything's back. Assuming that we've got no kinked hoses, which I don't think we have, we should be okay. One thing I just wanted to mention with the tank going in, it seemed to go in easier with it kind of tilting towards the back. What I found was that when I was doing it up level, the breather pipes were kind of snagging on the rear of the frame. It's very tight where the rear bolt goes in, because the piece that comes down to it is next to the tank, the sort of mounting point, and it's sort of in the way a bit. So bringing the tank up like at an angle like that seemed to allow, and it also helped position that the first sort of bolts that were going to go in. So I don't know whether that is gospel or whatever, but it helped me out, so maybe it might help someone else out. Okay, so we've reached that point where we are at the engine. There is the Schrader valve where I'm going to put on my little Schrader sort of pump connector thing that I've got. I've got it pipe going into a jar. Initially I'm just going to turn the ignition and see what comes out. It should start to purge itself, because there'll be air in there from taking it apart. But then if we need to get anything out, we can get this fella out and the relay and then jump it. Already sort of scratched from me taking it in and out a few times to test various things. So that's where I'm at now, and we're just going to see what happens when I turn the ignition. Okay, so after all that stress, we are getting fuel out of here, which is better than it was before because nothing was coming out. So I'm just going to prime the ignition again and see what else comes out, make sure there's no air stuck in it. So let's just have a quick go. So there's a good stream of fuel coming out. It doesn't look dirty, and so I feel kind of happy with that. So might try for a start rather than trying to do all the bypassing and stuff. Excellent, so we've got the car starting. Seems happy enough. Cool. Result. Right, because we are working and everything seems happy, the engine starting, fuel's flowing into the jar,
I feel happy that the pump is now working, which it wasn't supplying any fuel before, so at least it's doing something useful. I'm not actually going to bother with checking the current or anything, because it's a new pump, it should work fine. If I get any problems, I'll probably post a video of it, but I've already got a video on there showing the steps to achieve that anyway, so you can always look that up, or there are various other people that have done it. So basically you would just take this out and short the pins that would make the pump run all the time, connect up again similar way with your jar and hose, and just make sure that fuel is flowing consistently out of the pump. The only other thing that I probably should do is change the fuel filter, because I did that last time, and because I've messed around with the fuel tank, it might be worth doing. But I just, right at this moment in time, I've had enough of the job. It's doing me in, and I haven't been able to do it as quickly as I wanted because the weather was terrible. So at this point in time, I'm just going to give up, not give up, but just stop and get everything's put back together, and then just stop and see how the pump goes the next couple of days when I need to use the car.